What is going on? Twitch chat and YouTube. It's Saturday. It's actually the day of the vintage box, which I was not qualified for, but I'm watching intently. That's starting in 5 minutes between these 24 powerful magicians. You're going to see a lot of familiar names here. Data Collector Falcon Eye. Got some Zoomers. Got some, Pro Tour players. A lot of powerful wizards in that one. But I'm not playing in that one. I'm playing in this one. the Saturday Vintage Challenge. And what are we playing with? A pile of garbage. It's pretty fun. It's actually a cool deck. So this card came out in, what the hell is this set called? Whatever the Dungeons and Dragons set is called. Oswald Fiddlebender is a birthing pod for artifacts, kind of. So yeah. It's a cool card. And so the first thing I thought of when I saw this card is turning Hollow Ones into Bolas Citadels or turning Thought Monitors into Sphinx of the Steel Wind. I was trying to figure out some way where you play a cheap, like an artifact where you cheat on mana and then turn it into a Citadel. But I just found that all of those decks sucked. I didn't find any strong configurations for it. So what else can it do? Well, there are a lot of 1 and 2 mana artifact combos in Vintage, and they pairs really, really well with Urza Saga. So what we're trying to do is assemble Manifold Key Time Vault, which is infinite turns, or trying to assemble Grindstone Painter Servant, which will mill out our opponent's library. And we get to do that in a pretty consistent way between 4 Goblin Welder, 4 Goblin Engineer, 2 Fiddlebender, and 4 Urza Saga. A Fiddlebender itself can turn like a Moxen into a 1-drop. You can always get like a Chromatic Star to draw cards and go off and loop things in with Welder. It's a really, really resilient deck, and it does what it's trying to do very, very well. The problem is what it's trying to do is not the most powerful thing you can be doing, and also is super weak to the format. So Force of Vigor is a huge issue. Collector Roof is a huge issue. Getting turn 1 killed by Doomsday and PO is a huge issue. Basically, your deck is like a walking liability. Because I mean, friends don't let friends register Plateau, and there's a reason friends don't let friends register Plateau, and that's because historically Plateau not the strongest color combination. So I do think that this deck is at a power level where you can be winning games of Magic, especially over slower opposing decks. I think I went 3-2 in a league with it, made some changes, and I'm pretty happy with the current configuration. You also have Luris, so you're like super grinding. Like if you have to play versus a grinding deck, as long as they don't like Ancestral combo you out of the game, you're going to outgrind whatever counter spells your opponent is doing. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited. We already have round 1 up, so let's just jump right into that. All right, we have round 1 versus the Zoomer King. I know the Zoomers don't claim him as the king, but he does have a lot of the public face. I mean, he's no Milan. Let's say that much. It's Wombo. Wombo is liable to register any pile, just as we are. Last week they top 8'd with Oath. Before that, they were caught registering Noble Hierarch, so it could be anything. But what we have is a cat. So, and we've got action. So yeah, let's just keep all this.
Just queued for Mana Traders Woo.
Nice. Congrats, Dan. Happy to hear it. Now, what the frig is my line here? I have about infinite choices. I'm thinking Lotus, Welder, Wellspring, Saga, Grindstone. If I had like some Moxen, I would. If I had a couple Moxen, I might go like put Luris in my hand, Lotus Luris kind of play. But I think without the Moxen, I would rather just try to find a painter so I can painter Grindstone with an LED. So yeah, let's do that. I think I'm gonna lead on Welder and see where that what happens with that. Mental misstep. Okay. All right. Well, I have an Ichor Wellspring. I did end up hitting an Emerald. I'm definitely going to just play out this Saga and a grindstone and an emerald. I'm gonna hold the diamonds in case I draw like a painter servant. I don't want them to counter it, or something. I don't know. Just hide information, really. I could use the diamond to get my Luris, but I don't think I want to get rid of my plateau. Okay, so my opponent is on Bug or Tinker. But we have like kind of infinite time. Maybe not. Maybe they're going to Tinker next turn. But if they're on Bug, then they probably just got Ancestral or Collector Roof. Another good reason to hold on to this plateau. Let's see what we draw. A Fiddle Bender. Pretty awkward. But it does represent lethal next turn if they didn't get an oof. But I do want to be able to get a construct. Maybe the best play is actually just to get a Luris. Because what we could do is play our plateau, play our LED, crack our LED for our Luris, and then play a Luris. But then I have to replay a Black Lotus, and I don't even get a Saga. So I don't really like that idea. Yeah, I am definitely considering doing LED as my Saga token thing. I think my opponent either got Tinker, which is really bad for me, or Collector Roof, which is also really bad for me, but not horrible for me, because if I don't get Wastelanded, I have Fiddlebender Plateau, and I can turn an Emerald into a portable hole. So I have lines. So I think I'm going to make this play I originally said, where I put the Fiddlebender into play. Unless it gets forced, in which case, what was I supposed to do? Yeah, okay, the Fiddlebender got forced, pitching Dig. Dig, and still don't know if it's Tinker or Collector Roof, but at the very least, I'll get a dude, which is nice. I could have used this to put a Luris in my hand, but I think it's better to get a dude. Okay, it's Tinker. Okay. Not much I can do about this. They had Force, Misstep, and turn 2, but they did miss a land drop, so I'm going to make a token. And then I don't have enough mana to make another. Oh, I do have enough mana. All right, let's see what we draw. An Academy. So can I win the game? I don't have the Fiddlebender because it got forced. So I can only get key, star, or zeros. And portable hole doesn't do anything. I think I just make a construct and get Needle on top. So unfortunately, my Lotus and my LED are in the yard, so I can't get something that would let me cast Luris this turn. I can only put Luris into my hand. I could get a Soul Guide Lantern to play around a Yogwill. I think we just Needle on a top. And then hit him for a bunch. So they go to 10. And we can put this Luris in our hand. And we can mill ourselves. Mill a Soul Guide and a Pyroblast. All right, well, I mean, I have lethal on the table. They have to do something. They found a Black Lotus on their first one, and they found a Mentor on their second one. That's pretty good. Swords on the Construct. Force the Swords on the Construct. Flusterstorm the Swords on the Construct. Or Flusterstorm the Force. So we're not winning by attacking. Actually, we are winning by attacking if I had gotten a Manifold Key instead of a Needle. I wonder if I should have gotten a Manifold Key instead of a Needle. I didn't really consider Mentor because I don't really think it's something worth considering. I can't actually play this Luris because I don't have double white mana either. I think Wombo kind of just little kid lucked us pretty hard because Mentor is like the only thing that's actually gonna block and keep them alive, and they can't really combo off because they're not like a PO deck. So Wombo hitting the Mentor was disgustingly bad for us. We obviously can still win with a Manifold Key, but we're obviously a painter. But they looks like they're holding up Hardcast Force, so we probably just have no shots. I don't really know what we're supposed to do here. Guess we just lose. My opponent only had 10 life to use there, and unfortunately they just hit a Mentor, which is just the highest possible roll, I think. Yeah. There's really just not much I can do about it. No, I'm not saying off of Saga. I'm saying off of Fiddlebender, which is what I was talking about. I did not say I could get the portable hole off of Saga. I said I could get it off of Fiddlebender. All right, I guess we just lose. It's kind of unfortunate, but... yeah, no worries. I mean, you might have heard me correctly. It's definitely possible that I misspoke, so... maybe it's probably better not to attack with this so that I don't die to this, but I don't know. Too tilted. I don't expect to get another turn either way. So my question to myself is, did I make a mistake when I searched for a needle on top when I should have... maybe I was supposed to get a key? Yeah, Wombo is about the most whitelisted you can possibly be. That's for sure. So yeah, that's my only question is was the needle a mistake, and was I supposed to get Manifold Key there? I could have also gotten a Chromatic Star. Okay, so this attack did kill me here, exactly. I should not have attacked. That was obviously bad, but whatever. Yeah. So I could have gotten a star, or I could have gotten a key. I don't think getting a key is like correct. Doesn't really seem correct to me. I could see maybe a star being better, as we can just try to win harder. So my opponent is Esper Tinker. I'm just going to bring in Pyroblasts and Biforces. I don't really like bringing in Defense Grid against them. I just want... I don't even really like Needle. Don't really like Portable Hole that much. I think having one is fine. I don't really like Lightning Bolt either. Kind of just completely off Lightning. Like, they can have Hold Breacher, but I don't care about that card in this deck. So I guess we can go with They're probably Hercule's Recall and Swords to Plowshare, so there's no reason to play Welding Jar. So you can just play 2 Portable Holes. Portable Hole hits like artifacts, but it's not great. I guess we can keep a second defense grid then. I do think that we were in a pretty good position to win that game with a couple better draws, but it's possible that I was just supposed to get Star and hope for a Painter or something like that. Okay. Well, it's a turn 1 Luris play, so we should do it. If it resolves, we play out all of our non-saga cards, which it did. That's a pretty decent one. We don't really have a follow-up, but we have Saga. That should be good enough. Saga plus Pyro. As long as we don't get like turn 1 tinkered. That was definitely a really strong starting hand. And we have multiple colors of mana using our Lotus. So unless they have a Swords, and if we draw like a Fiddlebender or an Engineer, we can play both of those. Engineer, it obviously tutors for a win. Looks like they have Swords, maybe. White Swords. Or just Soul Ring, maybe. Yep, Soul Ring, turn 1, key. Why would they hit this and not this? Doesn't really make sense. All right. Scroll for Ancestral, I assume. And we have a Pyro, so I think we're in decent shape here. Oh, we also won the game. So that's cool. They don't even know that we have Pyroblast backup. All right, well, we got to win on the draw against Tinker in game 3, but it's possible. Yeah, that was probably one of our better draws. Like we can draw like this and it's pretty much garbage. Like technically, like this is a hand that maybe that works in Legacy, but not in Vintage, just too slow. We have so much Moxen and fast mana in our deck. We're gonna just look for something better than this. Against our opponent who's on Tinker, I don't think that this hand is really acceptable. Like this hand is obviously much, much better. We actually, I mean, we have to live for a pretty long time for it to work out, but theoretically it can work out, which is nice. Just gonna get rid of the card I can't cast, and then my opponent has mulligan to 5, has mulligan to 4. I can't get too excited because London Mulligan means if you find Tinker in your 7-card, 4-card hand, then you can still pull off a turn 1 Tinker. So it is definitely a good thing that they're mulliganing. We can't get too excited just because of how good Tinker is. But our hand is slow, worth noting. We have to wait until turn 3 to win this game. So we go turn 1, Mana Crypt, Defense Grid, Saga, Jet, Painter. And then when our Saga goes off, we get a Grindstone. Pre-Citadel, you just got a Blightsteel and hoped it worked. Alright, so unfortunately, this Defense Grid's like pretty garbo because my opponent just has no cards. I'm gonna name blue so that if I draw a Pyroblast and somehow can cast it, I can kill their shit. Oh, it's so pretty. All right, I mean, I kind of think they're just gonna go like land Time Vault here, and I lose. Yep. So I can't win this game. I don't believe I can draw. I warded out Needle, so I just lose. Yeah, this is the problem with the London Mulligan. Multifor doesn't really matter. Even if I draw Pyroblast, I don't have the mana to cast it, so I'm just going to die to Manifold Key Time Vaults. I don't think it's correct for me to keep in... Like, I can keep in a Needle, but... I guess I have one Portable Hole, but I can't cast that as well. So everything that does answer this currently, I can't cast. I'm just going to die. And I drew both defense grids. That is, like, kind of hilarious. Yeah, I guess I could have top decked one of the 4 grindstones, but that would have been... Come on, I'm not that whitelisted. 4 in 53. Yeah, unfortunately, Wombo got us on his Moldifor. Yeah, we needed one more turn. Turn 3 is just one turn too slow. Nothing I can do about it either, right? Kinda sucks. I should have attacked, whatever. Yeah, I needed one more turn or to top deck defense grid. The drawing the 2 defense grids was pretty sad. But we just needed to have one more turn. But London Mulligan too strong. Okay. Not bad. I mean, the deck kind of worked. It's just, like we said, it was a little bit too weak for Vintage. So I guess I could have like kept a stronger hand, but that hand is very reasonable on 6. Especially if my opponent keeps a hand that has like Force of Will. It just turned out my opponent mulligans to turn 2 kill instead of to Force of Will, which is probably correct. So, yeah. All right, we found ourselves a Dredge opponent, chat. Let's see if we can't show them the business with our main deck, Soul Guide Lantern and Needle. They do get to be on the play, so I kind of think this hand's not good enough. It does get us a turn to Needle if they have no forces and no vigors and no nothing. So I kind of just want to not keep it. I feel like we can do better. Here we go. We got a main deck Soul Guide Lantern here. So let's just get rid of, I guess, the key. The key doesn't really do anything. So I can loop Soul Guide Lanterns with this. If I can't win by looping Soul Guide Lanterns, what are we even doing? Do I? No. No, I don't. I mean, it does a strong thing, but my deck, it doesn't have Force of Will. It's pretty bad. Like, I came into this knowing my deck was not great, so we're doing it for the content. Stinkweed Imp, Bloodghast. All right, so if my opponent doesn't have one of their 8 forces, we could be in decent shape. I put the key away, and then I immediately draw Time Vault. Well, I think that the activation that Oswald has is powerful. And I think there theoretically could be like a Thought Monitor deck that just splashes an Oswald, but... All right. Dodge a force. Any forces? Nope, no forces. All right, well, I'm going to take your Stinkweed Imp then. Poor Jerry. Jerry just comes in here, wants to play Dredge, and his opponent just goes Mountain Soul Guide Lantern. Yeah. I mean, it's like not a bad creature type. Artificer has a decent amount of cavern. The problem is I want to cavern it, but then I don't have white mana. Okay, so nothing came back. So that's really good for me. All right, well, now everything's coming back. So we're going to hit the 3 Bloodghasts. And then my opponent needs to have drawn Force of Will, or they're going to start getting looped by Goblin Welders, which is not great for them. I actually do kind of just feel bad for Jerry. Jerry's had a rough time recently with Dredge not playing super well. And just has to come in here and face a pile of Goblin Welders and turn 1 Soul Guide Lanterns. Am I getting Mindbreak trapped? I kind of feel like I'm getting Mindbreak trapped. Oh well. I don't think I care if I get Mindbreak trapped. I still have 3 artifacts to weld. This is so sad. It's so silly. I just loop this lantern over and over again. Yeah. It gets better post board too. We bring in like 3 defense grids and it just gets better really. Oh my god, they only have 1 dredger, so when I bring back my lantern I get to hit their 1 dredger. I don't actually. No. Maybe. I like Jerry. But this is kind of sweet justice, too, because if you register Bazaar of Dagdad, sometimes you gotta get what's coming to you. Like, when I register Tinker, I gotta get Pyroblasted and Mindbreak Jack sometimes. You know? It's just how it be. Wasteland? No! My Great Furnace? Cody? What's a Cody? I really wanted to play Oswald, because I think Oswald is an interesting and powerful card. Goblin Engineer. Wow. Yo. Crash him and bash him. Thanks for the raid. Playing some Vintage right now, and we are showing our Dredge opponent what it's like to play against main deck Soul Guide Lanterns that loop. God, yeah, we can actually Serum Powder. Oh, it's so sad. They don't even have a hollow one out because of the Serum Powder. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Another Goblin Engineer. All right, well, I guess I can go Goblin Engineer and get a Manifold Key. Or just a Needle. Or a Defense Grid. Yeah, let's go get a Needle. Why not? So do I want to play around Vigor at this point in the game? Not really. Maybe I'm supposed to play around Vigor. I do know that they have a Shambling Shell. It's possible I'm supposed to play around Vigor here so that I don't get wrecked. Like, if I get Vigored, I don't have anything to weld anymore. Oh, they're going to put the needle on the top of my library. Fair. So they could have done that to the lantern. I don't think it matters. Grief, Shambling Shell, 1 card in hand, Dredge. Yeah, I still don't have to activate this lantern yet. I guess I have to do it on the next upkeep. I'm kind of having a hard time seeing how my opponent continues to play Magic from this situation. I'm just going to hold up all my activations. I do think I have to Lantern away the Icarid, though. So I can do cool things, like if they have nothing, weld the Jet for the star, and then the star for the Lantern again. Goblin control. All right, so let's do Jet for star. Star for Great Furnace. And then Great Furnace for star again. Hello, welcome to the stream. We're just extracting maximum value at the moment. Kind of just want, like, Urza Saga, I guess. Lion's Eye Diamond. Well, that's something to weld in and out, which is fun. I think I want to start by just welding this star out for a Great Furnace. And try to draw another land. I guess at this point they could have a Vigor, in which case we still get double activations, so it doesn't really do anything. They will get to activate a Bazaar once, though. I found a Black Lotus. Okay, so now I think we do Luris things. I think we just go Black Lotus, Lion's Eye Diamond. I guess they could have Mindbreak Trap, or but they can't have. They could have Force, I guess. Yeah, this is fine. So here we use our LED to get our Luris, our Lotus to get our Luris. LED for Luris, Lotus for Luris. And then I can just like replay my Soul Guide Lantern. We probably could have won with Volkey, but this is like way more fun. Have you considered the value we can continue to extract by playing more Magic? All right. So we have to bring in defense grids, also a lantern, also a needle, also a welding jar, also a Tormod script. Maybe I have too many cards for Bazaar. The thing is, like, I didn't originally have the defense grids for Bazaar. Like, they're not only for Bazaar. All right, Portable Hole, that's out. Lightning Bolt, that's out. Where else can we do? Probably don't need a Nicker Wellspring in this matchup. We probably don't need an Expedition map in this matchup. I don't hate the idea of having Pyroblast to kill Bazaar of Baghdad. But I don't think it's necessary. What does this look like? What does this look like? This looks like play defense grid or die to force of vigor. I mean, I think there's like something to be said about trimming on cards that get hit by Leyline of the Void. So I kind of think maybe trimming a Welder for a Pyroblast makes some amount of sense here. Still think the tutor ones are strong. I think 2 Pyroblast is fine. Let's try this. It's possible I need to bring in Biforce to kill Hollow One, but I also think it's possible I just don't care. Because I have Urza Saga. Maybe I need the Retrofitter Foundry as my answer to Hollow One. Kind of doesn't seem like a good answer, though. Alright, I still have Aluris. And I don't actually have any of my Bizarre Hate here. I do have a pretty strong hand, though. Like, I do have turn 1, Fiddlebender, Jar. I don't know if I am allowed to keep this, though. I feel like with the amount of hate that I have in my deck, I shouldn't keep this hand. This only has 1 piece of hate, but at least it has some amount of redundancy. And it plays well against a Leyline if they had it. Jeez, how... I can't really play around Mindbreak Trap or Force of Vigor with this hand, can I? I drew another Welder. Alright, so... I feel like I start with Saga, so if they want to Vigor it right away, I don't lose 2 things. And then I'm going to bait on a Force of Will with Fiddlebender. And then bait on... I don't have another bait, so that's my bait. And then run into Mindbreak Trap, because we don't play around Mindbreak Trap in this house. This is my Force of Will bait. They kind of have to force it. If they don't force it, it's always getting Dredge Hate off of my Pearl. Unless they feel like they're going to like Force of Vigor my Saga and my Pearl, which is pretty good. Yeah, I don't feel like I have much agency to play around anything, so I'm just going to jam all of my cards and hope it works out. I think I'm getting Vigored. If I was them, I would Vigor Pearl and Needle. But they might Yes, Pearl and Needle are gone. No, they didn't. They did Saga and Needle. Okay, I think that's wrong. I think you want to hit Pearl so that I can't Fiddlebender, but maybe it doesn't matter because they just dredged like 1,000,000. Yeah. If they don't have another... Oh, you put 2 Contagions away. Okay, so I can get a Soul Guide Lantern here, and I think we can still win. I think we have to get a Soul Guide Lantern, though. I would love to hit a red land for a Welder. So I think I have to get rid of this Jet and just get a... I don't think I'm going to be able to power through this. Why? They have about 1,000,000 Dredgers in their yard and a Bazaar of Baghdad and an Icarid and a Bridge from Below. What do you mean, why? I can't use the Grindstone because it has to be exactly 1 higher. This has been pretty detrimental, this 2 red cards and no red mana. What are you trying to say? What do you want me to do? If I don't hit their graveyard, I die next turn. I lose the game. The game is over. If I do not get a Soul Guide Lantern or something like that, I lose the game. So I don't know. I think I'm pretty much forced, right? Oh, them hitting my Saga. Oh, yes. I don't know. I kind of feel like the Saga doesn't matter, whereas the white mana does matter, but they don't know that the white mana matters, so it's kind of fair. I think I can just hit the Icarid, and that way I don't actually have to crack this immediately. And I'm just going to play out the Grindstone to use my mana efficiently. All right, so what I can do... I have some options next turn. Well, they don't know, like, they don't know that I don't have additional white mana in my hand, but... one Narcomoeba. I think that's fine. They have 3 Contagions in their sideboard? Yikes. That's a lot of Contagions, actually. Yeah, I'm not going to activate my Soul Guide Lantern. I actually have a backdoor kill here, because I'm only going to 12, and they've already used a Creeping Chill. So if they don't make me activate my Lantern, and I hit Lotus, I could Pearl my Lantern into a Painter and Lotus kill them with Grindstone. Looks like they're going to make me activate this Lantern, though. They hit a Cabal Therapy. So if they don't actually hit a trigger, then I can't actually stop getting Therapy, but it doesn't actually matter. So if they cast Therapy, they would get 2... Okay, I think I have to hit the Soul Guide here. I theoretically could not, but I think the outs of me winning the game are too small, so I'm just going to hit the Soul Guide. And this Therapy doesn't do anything, but I am still losing on board. They do have 2 chills now gone, which means if I assemble Painter over 2 turns, I can win. They named Painter Servant, which is fair. So what do we draw? A key. Interesting. Okay, so I turn the Grindstone into a Time Vault and then try to draw a land. Kind of seems like my only line. I can't turn the Pearl into extreme amounts of mana, right? I could turn the Pearl into a Soul Ring. I don't have a Mana Vault in my deck. That's probably bad deck building. All right, I'm gonna turn the Grindstone into a Time Vault and then hope everything works. I don't really have high hopes that everything will work, but it's a line. Yeah, I think this card really does a powerful thing. All right, so our opponent is upkeeping, so they're dredging. They did have a Stinkweed Imp, and then they missed. Okay, so if I draw a land and they don't have a misstep, I win. Or any mana source, really, actually. Any mana sources? Any mana sources? Mana sources? Painter Servant. Wait, no, I'm still good, right? Because I can still go Fiddlebend the Pearl into a Soul Ring, and then Soul Ring a key. I didn't even need a mana source. Wait, this card is fucking broken. It's just a 1-card combo. No land, no problem. Wow, okay. Damn, it's a 1-card combo. Dang, okay, sure. Yeah. All right, deck's sweet. All right, here we are, round 3. I have a cat. Let's begin. I don't know what this player is on, actually. This is the Pro Tour winner? I feel like this is the Pro Tour winner. I believe they just started playing Vintage recently. Yeah. This hand is really, really awkward. I think I'm putting it back. It has about infinite mana, but I can't actually play Luris with this mana because I have both the Mountain and the Great Furnace and the Ruby. But if I draw a Saga, I have time. Maybe I'm just supposed to keep it and hope to top deck. I have so many good top decks. Let's just keep it. I have like half of my deck is a winning top deck, right? Key, Grindstone, Saga, Engineer. Like a white source is pretty good. If I get Doomsday, it's pretty bad. All right, well, I have nothing. Show me your worst. Kill me with that Doomsday. Oh, I didn't get Doomsdayed. That's good. I drew a lightning bolt. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna just play Mountain, Opal, Mana Crypt. This is the best way to play around like a Vigor stopping my Opal. And then I actually have an awkward amount of mana where if I get my Luris, I can't hold open Lightning Bolt and play something. I think I'm just going to get my Luris and pass. Kind of weird, but I feel like my opponent's going to just like Mystical at the end step here and then Doomsday kill me. Kind of feels like what's happening. They didn't cast Preordain, right? And we think they're on Doomsday. This kind of just feels like a Mystical or a Vampiric vibe. Nothing. Okay, maybe they're not. Maybe they're on Bug or something. Yeah, I mean, I think I would prefer playing in a format where Hollow 1 and Doomsday were restricted. I don't really think they need to be. I think... Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can go about it, and I think unless there's like a super big reason, they're not going to ever change it. So I think we're kind of just stuck with them. Getting colorless land here is not ideal. I'm going to just start deploying the fleet. I think I'm going to name like white with this because I don't want to turn on Force of Negations, Force of Vigor, Force of Will. Just going to name white. I don't have a Pyroblast in my hand, so there's no real reason to name blue. I don't want to give them extra stuff. I still feel like we're getting Doomsdayed and it's going to be pretty rough for us no matter what happens here because we just haven't drawn our good cards, right? We were saying we wanted to draw Grindstone or our Key or Saga or a white source, but we've drawn none of those. So let's find out if our opponent's on Bug. This fetch will tell us if they're on Bug. No, they're on Doomsday. Okay. I expect to die then. I definitely expect to die on turn 3 with my opponent having cast just Probe. It feels like it would be pretty unlikely for them to have not a kill and not cast any Preordains. I guess they could theoretically not have a Dark Ritual. Okay, they're going to consult for whatever they're missing. Maybe they'll hit both of their oracles here. Yeah, I kind of think that Vigor and Hollow 1 probably should be restricted, but that's just my preference. So they milled Ancestral and Lotus, so that might actually buy us a turn. What did they actually get? They named Shreet Wraith with Consult. That's an interesting name. So I guess that means they don't have a Dark Ritual, but they're going to go black, 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 Doomsday, Street Wraith, Gush. But now they can't actually kill me because they hit Lotus, possibly. I'm not 100% sure if we're dead or not here. in like a theoretical world where they have triple C Doomsday into Street Wraith Gush, but they don't get to replay any mana. So I don't think we can die in one turn. So we have another turn to draw a card. The problem with drawing a card is I kind of feel like they have a Force of Will, so I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. Like, I can draw a Grindstone here, but it's just going to get countered, and I can't... If I had another white source, it'd be really good. I could just play Lurrus and replay it. But I just don't. I mean, I guess there's a chance we can get a Lethal Bolt or something. I'm not 100% sure what my opponent's hand is that incentivizes them to Demonic for a Street Wraith. I could think about it, but I don't really want to think about it, so I'm just not going to. I am going to play this. It's a clock, so... I guess I should play this for Flusterstorm. Alright, unfortunately, I was kind of hoping they forced this Lurrus just to get the Force out of their hand and they would take another damage, but... I think there's a backdoor world here where we get a Lightning Bolt kill, but it's got to be unlikely. So I assume this Mystical... I just don't know why they would Demonic for a Street Wraith. Then, like, if they Demonic for a Street Wraith, it means they already have Doomsday, right? This got Dark Ritual. Okay. Well, if they're getting Dark Ritual with this tutor, why wouldn't they get Dark Ritual with the console? I mean, now if we do live a turn and draw a combo piece, they have to counter it twice, probably. But I don't think we're living a turn. Says now my opponent doesn't actively need Gush and Mana and Lotus because they have a Dark Ritual. So now they can Dark Ritual Doomsday, Street Wraith into Gush, Gush, and Oracle, and we just die. So we did not draw very well here. We drew more mana sources, right? Which is kind of the issue with keeping the hand I did keep. But I felt like there was a high enough percentage of my deck that was lethal draws to make it worthwhile. So this puts them down to 7, and then they Street Wraith down to 5. So they would have to Street Wraith again for some reason for us to have a chance to win this game with a Lightning Bolt. So probably not going to. I highly doubt they... I mean, they didn't draw a Street Wraith. I mean, unless they top deck a Street Wraith on this turn after they consulted, or they put a Street Wraith after their Gush for some reason. Well, they could put a Street Wraith after their Gush, theoretically, to get down to 2 cards. So, it's possible. One, two, three. So 1 Force of Will. All right, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I can't imagine a world where they have... I mean, double Street Wraith is the answer. But Gush just puts them to 2, so they actually don't need it. Gush just puts them to 2 cards, and I guess like if they play an Oracle here and they don't have the Lotus already, then I can bolt the Oracle. But they would have to not have the Force already. I don't have lethal though, so they had mental misstep. Okay, well, yeah, we didn't draw the cards we needed to win against Doomsday. That's for sure. I'm kind of sus about the hand I kept. I do feel like we had about infinite draws that were good, right? We had key, 4 grindstone, 1 key, 4 engineer, 2 fiddlebender, and anything that gives me Lurrus mana. So that was a little sad. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bring in Pyroblasts and Grids and try to just turn off their counterspell game. Obviously, Portable Hole is pretty useless. Needle is pretty useless. Soul Guide is pretty useless. And we'll just try to murder them before they murder us. That's kind of the whole game plan here. Yep, run it back. Oh, I have 61 cards. Probably don't need an expedition map. Yeah, I think the keep is fine. We're upwards of what? More than 10 cards that win the game on the spot? Or that like need to be forced? And then obviously any white mana gives us a Luris, and that like doubles down. Like if they force an Oswald and then we get a white mana for Luris, then we can Luris back an Oswald later. Maybe that's too slow. I could definitely see a reasonable argument for mulliganing the hand, but all right, on the play, has a cat, has the firepower, doesn't have a good hand. Nah, this hand's kind of garbo. Technically, I have turn 1 Fiddlebender into Star, Hold Open, Blast? But I think that hand's kind of shite. I guess it does technically win the game on the third turn. No, it doesn't win the game on the third turn. If I use the star, it doesn't win the game on the third turn. But if I don't use the star, it does win the game on the third turn. If they don't have a force for Fiddlebender. Maybe that's actually fine. If I go Saga, Pearl, Fiddlebender, and it doesn't get countered, I untap and I play a star. It's just like already a mulligan, because there's just so many dead cards, and we have so much more powerful draws. I'm just going to mulligan this hand. Immediately, I guess I didn't take out Lightning Bolt, so that was bad. I guess we're mulliganing again. Okay, I mean... yeah, I guess so. Ay. Oh, I think I'm just supposed to Pyroblast anything I see on my opponent's first turn, and then I can jam Defense Grid after that. Yeah, it was a rough mulliganing to 5 here, because my 7 was way better. Not way better, but it was like definitely a decent amount better. If this is like a preordain, oh god, they're just gonna go... oh. Okay, would you like to take the counter spell or the defense grid? Probably the defense grid, I would assume. Kind of assume. I was really hoping there was a preordain there that I could Pyroblast. Yeah, we could totally play Canonist in the board. That's true. I just chose not to, I guess. Didn't think about it. Definitely could use it. I mean, we have a little bit too much graveyard hate, so there's definitely room to put some Canonists. I have always found Canonists to be very underwhelming in Vintage, but maybe it would be fine here. They took the Pyroblast. Guess that means we're gonna die on the next turn. Well, I don't know what I can draw here. I need to draw like 2 combo pieces, probably. So I could spend my whole... no, I don't need to. I can just do this. What do we got? Wonderful. Fantastic. All right, I guess they just kill me if they have something here. Nothing I could really do. I'm mulled to 5 and I am very dead at the moment. Yeah, an Either Sworn Canonist would be pretty good. I like that. That's a pretty good adaptation. Putting that in the board might help. I think that these decks are pretty much 0% to beat Doomsday anyways, but having something would be nice. I just can't provide any interaction to their combo, and they have pretty much one of the most consistent turn 2 combos in the format. And they also have interaction for my combo if I don't have defense grid post board. So it's pretty rough. Like, even if I can deploy a Luris here, bring back a star, but I'm just looping a star. Like, that's not fast enough. This is vintage. I think wheel is just kind of bad. And balance is pretty rough in a deck that has like 10 creatures. Balance in general in the deck is pretty good with its fast mana suite. Maybe it's still fine. I kind of think it's a sideboard card, though. We could definitely play a balance. I don't think I'd play a wheel, but I could get down to play a balance. I think it's just I mulliganed to 7, which I think it was reasonably. It was a reasonable hand to keep on 7, but when I we watched Wombo London Mull to turn 2 kill, so we could do the same thing really. We just haven't drawn it. All right, so am I just dead on turn 2 then? So this is lethal if my opponent has Preordain into Gush, whatever. It's just like my opponent casts a Preordain and they're going to turn 2 kill me. It's just how Doomsday does. Doomsday just consistently will always kill you on turn 2 with counterspell backup. That's just the format. Not that if I had a counterspell to stop it, it would do very much, because I'm also playing a defense grid. Yeah, not really much I can do. Let's make changes. Let's make changes. I kind of like the idea of I really don't like. That's not how you spell cannon. Really, I'm not a huge fan of Canonist in Vintage. It's really hard to cast, or not hard to cast, but in my deck it's hard to cast and it's slow. But I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't feel like I need this Retrofitter Foundry, and then a balance seems to make a lot of sense in the sideboard anyways, so I'm down for that. The question is, like, what do I even take out? I guess I could take out the second Soul Guide Lantern and a Pyro. It feels pretty weird not to play 4 Pyroblasts. Maybe it's just hole number 4. All right. Oh, I didn't die. That's nice. So my opponent did not have a cantrip. How do I win this game? What can I draw? I mean, yeah. Yes, you have correctly identified that mulliganing plus Moxen makes balance better. I did mulligan to 5 and was on the play and have all Moxen. Like, yes, I agree. Balance is decent here. Ow. So now, even if I draw into nothing, there's just nothing I can draw into, because there's just no way I'm living through another turn. Oh well, yeah, it's just Doomsday. What was my poor plateau deck going to do against the menace that is Watery Grave? You got me, opponent. You got me. Rip the top 8 dreams. I mean, it's definitely possible if I kept my turn 1 hand, we would win this game, right? If I kept my 7 card hand and played an Oswald and they didn't have a force, which I kind of feel like they didn't have a force, it's definitely possible the Oswald hand would have won the game. Because we made it to turn 3 in this game, surprisingly. My opponent didn't have a cantrip after they resolved Doomsday. So we actually made it to turn 3. So it's possible I just should have kept my 7 card hand and maybe we would have won that game. I kind of feel like you're not supposed to keep those like very borderline 7 card hands with the power of the London Mulligan, but sometimes the London Mulligan gives you, 5 lands, Lightning Bolt, Mana Crypt. So here we are, round 4, Vintage Challenge. We're currently in the 1-2 bracket, but let's make the comeback with a cat. All right, we've got a good hand against Bug, but I actually don't have additional mana sources, so I'm probably just gonna mulligan this. I don't know what my opponent's on. Could be anything. This hand actually looks pretty bad the more I look at it. Mulligan. Okay, we've got some sagas. I heard that's a broken card. We got a combo. Yeah, this is like a turn 3 kill. Yeah, this hand looks good. Do we... I think we just put the Pyroblast away. Though we do have Painter Servant. And Chromatic Star. But I need both these lands, probably. And I could put the Star away, but then the Pyroblast gets worse anyways, so... I actively do not believe that Saga PO is good. That's my thing. And I've made like 4 or 5 videos with Dress Down PO, which I do think is okay. So the YouTube algorithm and my viewers are not, they don't want to see any more Dress Down PO. So I figured this week we would put something fun out, and then next weekend during the Mana Traders Swiss, I will probably play like PO again. But I felt like it was pretty reasonable to do something fun for this weekend, make people happy. But I actively don't believe you should be playing Saga PO. If you want to play Saga, I think Esper Tinker is better. So I think this deck's fun. It's really cool. Also, like, I like to do experiment with new cards, and Fiddlebender is a powerful new card. So okay, Volcanic Island. That lowers the chance of us getting wastelanded. This is it Lavinia? No, it does up the chance of us getting deactivated though. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think Saga PO is so bad that you can't win with it. But I just don't think it's like better than, like, I think putting Saga in your deck makes your PO deck worse. And I think putting PO in your deck makes your Saga deck worse. And I think putting PO in your Tinker deck makes your Tinker deck worse. So I kind of have a lot of problems. Have I tried Stifle Not? No, I don't want to actively register the card Stifle. All right, so my opponent might just be on Jeskai Fair cards. I think Jeskai Fair cards is a reasonable place to be if we don't get like Ancestral too badly, because we grind pretty well between Urza Saga and... All right, well, we got Ancestral. Ancestral, Time Walks, Pearl. Well, it's pretty bad. That's a decent draw for next turn, though. I'm just gonna go Grindstone Star. No, I could go Servant. I don't really want to get hit by Swords to Plowshares, so I'm just gonna go Grindstone Star. Yeah. I mean, I do think that like an Esper Tinker deck with Saga is pretty good right now. So. I'm like super down for my opponent to counter this, as I have an Urza Saga to get another one if I really want to. Theoretically, my opponent being a Jeskai control deck means Saga should be incredibly good against them. We'll see if that comes to fruition. I do think it should be. I really like my version of PO right now. I think it's really strong. I haven't had very good, I haven't had very good outings with it, but every time I play it, it feels like it's more cohesive than any PO deck I've registered in recent memory, so. But the metagame is trending away from PO again with Jeskai returning, so. Hard to say. Expressive Iteration. In my vintage? Say it ain't so. Yeah. But like I said, I put out, oh my god, I put out like 6 different videos of PO in the last month, and people just don't want to watch it anymore, so. Or I need to figure out a better way to thumbnail it. So I lose a lot of vintage traffic by titling my videos just as, it's not really like making YouTube videos, it's more of just re-uploading streams. So I don't think it's that bad to just label them the deck, the type of event, and the date. But I definitely lose the ability to be like, oh, Dress Down kills 4 artifact creatures. How good is it in vintage? And it loses a lot of traffic that way. It's just kind of have to determine what I want from my YouTube channel. And right now, the YouTube channel it's fine. I think just being a VOD re-upload site. All right, so my opponent is going to cast another Ancestral Recall, so we are going to get buried, unfortunately. We will have a shit ton of mana to cast Painter Servants and Grindstones on our next turn, so there's some upside. But yeah, it's going to be a little rough here. Well, it's not really clickbait. So it's, I don't know. I watched a whole video about titling thumbnails and videos. It's actually really informative. I should go find it for you guys. It's just making sure, like, there's what the video explained is there's two types of clickbait. There's type 1 clickbait and type 2 clickbait, and they mean different things. Yeah, it's the Veritasium one. Yeah, that's the one. I thought it was quite a good video. That YouTube channel puts out really, really good content. So I think it's definitely true that I'm not doing the utmost to make my videos get seen by more people. But I also don't know if I care as much about that as I do about having a cohesive library of videos for people to watch in terms of stream re-uploads. So yeah, it's a thought. It's something I've been putting a lot of thought of. I think if I were to make videos that are off Twitch, that are not just replays, then I think I would do more to title and thumbnail them to have them hit the wider Magic audience. But as much as I think now, while they're just VOD re-uploads, I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, I totally could stop putting that kind of detail in the description. Or in the title and put it in the description. That's true. So yeah, they talk about that a lot in the Veritasium video, is that people will tell you that they're viciously against titles that are withholding some amount of truth or giving you more curiosity or increasing your curiosity gap that they won't likely to visit again. But that has actually, like, in data, not proven to be true. So I don't know. I say go watch the video. I definitely understand. So I guess here, oh wow. So I think what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna go all in and just try to kill them with Grindstone. So I just get a Grindstone off of this Saga, and then I play a Tolarian Academy and a Painter's Servant off of that. Gives me 2 remaining mana, and if they counter it, I have 2 remaining mana, and then I have 3 remaining. So they have to have 2 counter spells. I think that's the way this works out. So I think we're actually good here. You can make titles that are not like the revolting kind of clickbait, that are still descriptive and true, but also impact the viewer's curiosity gap. So I don't know. It's been something I've been thinking about recently. All right, Painter's Servant. Do you have a force? They have to have 2 Force of Wills and 2 blue cards to survive here. They do. Okay. Painter's Servant, do you have a force? No. Green. So what they can do here is see my entire deck list on their upkeep by activating their Grindstone. And if they had an Ancestral in their hand, they could kill me. Right, but people will say both things are clickbait, and it kind of muddies the definition, right? Okay, they've decided not to show me their deck list. So we could have exchanged deck list here by me grindstoning them and them grindstoning me in the upkeep. I think it's more profitable for my opponent to see my deck list than it is to hide their deck list. So I think that this is a misplay. Unless my opponent knows that I have a Twitter and goes on Twitter and looks at my deck list, in which case it's a strong play. All right, so against Jeskai, I think what I'm going to do is Pyroblasts in... So I think there's like a ton of different ways to board for this matchup, and I have no idea what the right way is, because technically none of my cards are bad. Almost all of them grind. Some of them hit Dreadhorde and Leovinia. Some of them hit, you know, Dak Faden. Needle is like a good target. Lantern's a good target. Defense Grid can be a good target, but sometimes you don't want Defense Grid when you're trying to play like Pyroblasts. So I don't really want to bring in Defense Grids. I really don't know. Maybe maybe I'm just supposed to bring like Lion's Eye Diamond out because it's not a very good grinding card. An Opal out because they're going to attack my mana base, and one of the holes out maybe, and just rely on Pyroblast Lightning Bolt. I think that's probably reasonable. I don't know if we want a second Lantern. Like I think just having one of each is fine. I'm gonna go with this. I don't know the correct way to board for this matchup. I think there's a lot of playtesting that needs to be done to figure out the best way to board for this matchup. Well, that hand is certainly not keepable. Yeah, anyways, I just wanted to muse about that for a little bit, because I think the way we do it now is fine because it's just stream re-uploads. But if I was putting time and editing into making videos, I don't think I would do it, because when you put all the extra time and work into making and editing a cohesive off-stream video, I think making sure that it gets seen by the most number of people is really important. Whereas I'm kind of freebeing with the stream re-uploads. All right, off that topic, on to grinding Jeskai with Urza Saga. Yeah, I feel like this should be a fairly good matchup. I have lost to this matchup when I was playtesting the deck, just because they like cast multiple Ancestrals and killed me. Wait, maybe I'm supposed to just cut the Crypt here. Maybe I'm supposed to cut the Crypt in general. Yeah, maybe this is better. But like, you can't really stop them from doing the Xerox thing where they like play an Ancestral, Mystic Sanctuary, an Ancestral, do an Ancestral. You will lose those games, but I feel like between Luris and Saga and Welders, you have a really strong grind ability to play a long game, especially with Saga. Obviously, Saga is like just kind of nuts against Jeskai. I feel like maybe we should have cut the Mana Crypt actually in our board plan. That probably makes a lot of sense to me. That's what I was saying. I think the sideboard plan is pretty up in the air. I'm definitely going to just lead on holding up Pyroblast. That way I can counter like Emergent Scroll or Lavinia or something here. Or if they go like land Dak. But like, our hand currently doesn't really do much, but it does enough. And the reason it does enough is because of Saga. And this is definitely a big... Oh god, they preordained bottomed and missed on a land. It's really good for me, seeing as I have an active Saga. And a problem with the Welding Jar plan is that they do play swords, but they also play like Shattering Spree. So I think Welding Jar is worth bringing in for Shattering Spree. I'm not going to play Lantern because I want to be able to Pyroblast and activate Saga. I think they probably will have a Swords then. But we're just going to grind this game out. I think I'll probably make 2 tokens and get an Expedition map is the likely plan. I could just get a red source that lets me play a goblin welder and then do welder things. Here's a sword. That's fine. I'm not really worried about like half of my land getting swords. It is pretty lucky that our opponent has missed land drops though, or else it's possible this grind would not work out. So I have options, right? I have Grindstone looking for combo kills, Manifold Key looking for combo kills. I think just getting a map and getting another saga is probably the best way to go about this. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to play it this turn, but I do have this. So yeah, let's just maybe I'm supposed to play Welder instead of hold up Pyroblast. Oh, I didn't really think about that. Now I wish I hadn't played this Tomb so I could play like a Plateau if I drew it. Yeah, I am gonna put a Welder in play while they're tapped out. All right, well, I have another Welder. Okay, well, I am definitely down on red mana, which is not great. I might play this Soul Guide Lantern instead of mapping. No, I feel like getting a Saga is too good. Nice. It's not an easy foe. So they're thinking about forcing this Welder, and they chose not to force the Welder. I'm kind of wondering if this Expedition map was just supposed to be a Ruby. Or like a Lotus and go for the Luris. They missed on a land drop again. I think I'm just going to get a Saga. It just makes the most sense to me. So I can get an Expedition map back with my Welder at any point here. That's pretty dope. I guess I can weld back in a star to Pyroblast. That's pretty dope too. I guess I probably want to get my Luris this turn. I gained a bunch of life from the swords, which was really nice as well. I have a lot more activations. All right, so I'm going to get my Luris, and I'm going to hold open this Welder activation. I hate when you get Luris. It makes it so the next F2 doesn't work. I feel like obviously our opponent has just missed land drops every turn this game, but I feel like we would still be able to grind pretty well otherwise. So I am gonna weld in. I feel like I'm just gonna weld in this star. Because they can't. Yeah, we're just gonna win this game by virtue of opponent not getting to play Magic, which is kind of sad because I want to playtest this deck more, but oh, now our Luris is going to be uncounterable. That's pretty good. I mean, they kept a one-lander with Preordain and missed. It definitely happens when you play Jeskai. I think getting a Luris resolved is... Okay, so they have a force. So now I might not play Luris because I don't really want my Luris to get swords. Oh, they just forced it. All right, I can just weld it back into play then. So I can just weld the lantern, or do I want to weld this? The star I kind of need to make black mana with. So I'm gonna weld the... I guess I'll just weld this jet. Maybe I should have attacked at some point here. I'm still going to make a token. But I will think resolving Luris is insane. So I get to play Luris, bring back Jet, play Tomb, and then I get to make a token and attack. Yeah, I mean, like, we're going to grind our opponent out here. I'd be interested to play this game out where my opponent did hit a second land drop, because this was a very interesting grinding setup between, like, Saga and... So I can also loop Sagas here, because... Not loop Sagas. I can play all of my Sagas here by just replaying Expedition maps. There's a lot of cool things happening with this board state, for sure. Okay, round 5, it is challenge playing against not basic land. We just saw that they were on Saga PO, so let's see if we can't beat a Saga PO player with a cat and a nightmare. That sure looks like a turn 1 kill. Give it our best shot. So let's bait the misstep with the Soul Ring. Ah, they had a force. Unfortunate. Our turn 1 kill was thwarted. But I do have a cat, so if I hit a black source or a white source, then I can rebuy my painter. Or a red source for my welder, yes. I did have the turn 1, 7 mana kill you. Lavinia, yep. All right, mana sources that make colorful colors, please. You're an ancient tomb. Oh, boy. Yeah. Kind of unfortunate. Not gonna lie to you. It was my time. Oh, boy. All right, well, I'm going to try to get them here. If they're going to spin and try to draw into it. Hopefully, I mean, they could have spun and put something that they wanted 3 cards down, but then it's relying on me to... All right, so now they're going to fix it. All right, so they fixed it, and now they get to draw whatever they wanted, but they probably can't play the Ancestral, which is what I think... Oh, they had a Lotus, what they wanted. Okay. Lotus Narset. Or Lotus Tinker. Lotus Ancestral. Brilliant! Yes, my opponent's hand, very strong. And Time Walk. Okay, alright, dope. Let's just hope we don't get tinkered, I guess. Yeah, I mean, we had all the tools, but not all the tools. We needed 1 more tools. We still, like, if they have nothing, we still win off of a black source. Or, sorry, a white source. Like a land. Like a plateau. Like an arid mesa. Lost another flip. I drew my white card instead. Well, I mean, some days you're just not slated to win. And this was one of them, I guess. Pretty sad. I don't know, man. I feel like so many draws. We could still win. We could still win. It's still winnable. Still winnable game. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason you're playing Mox Opal. The color requirements in the deck are tough, but like you're not really supposed to cast Luris on turn 2 most of the time, to be fair. It's not an easy one to cast. But, yeah, I mean, that's the cost of playing Saga, right? And Ancient Tomb. I have to play Saga and Ancient Tomb, so I think you just have some times where you have bad mana. I hate this game so much. I really? Like there's like some amount of just being incredibly unlucky too, right? Like Saga, even though it's a colorless land, will give me a Black Lotus at the end of it. It's really just Ancient Tomb. It's actually just Ancient Tomb is the only land I don't want to draw. Every other land in my deck I did want to draw. Like a red land gets me Welder, a white land gets me Fiddlebender or Luris or anything. Like, it's just so sad because now they just have Hardcast Force up. So I probably shouldn't be milling them because they have a top. I'm just kind of autopiloted. Sorry. Just like clearing the top of their library for them. But on the flip, so I still get to activate an Ancient Tomb. Like, I also have Painter Servants, right? Like, I can also be drawing Painter Servants. It's incredible. It's just incredible. Like, if this Saga was the draw instead of the first Ancient Tomb, we would have won this game. But because the Saga was the third land I drew and like the sixth card I've drawn, I lost. So I don't know. I think it's like just pretty bad variance. I'm not too worried. Like, I do think that the mana in the deck is not good. I do definitely admit that the mana in the deck is bad. But all right, I'm just going to mill myself. I'm sure I'm going to mill 2 colored sources by doing that, but I really shouldn't have been milling them in the first place. I'm sure this mills... Oh, they're going to PO in response? What are they doing in response? Oh. I milled a Pyroblast and an Opal, which were both dead draws, so... Big brain plays. But do I get to see my draw? No, I don't get to see my draw. Yeah, I don't know. That's just like super sad because we have like a incredibly powerful hand, but it just doesn't work out. I feel like if you replay that game with the same hands 100 times, I probably win the majority of them, right? I would think so. All right, so I don't like Defense Grid against PO. I don't really like Map or Needle or Lantern. I want all of my Pyroblasts. And that's kind of it, right? I guess I can keep some Lightning Bolts for Lavinia, but I don't really think I need Lightning Bolt for Lavinia. I guess I can take these Lightning Bolts out and just play the Needle and the Soul Guide Lantern. We have Portable Hole as well, so... Me, personally, I would play PO, which is what I'm going to play next weekend. If you were a really strong player and could choose any deck, I'm not really sure what the answer would be. Vintage is pretty cyclical, so the best deck kind of changes on Magic Online every week. Ooh, the big raid from Canister. Hope you had a good stream, Canister. I guess this means you were streaming, so weren't you in the mocks? I guess it didn't go too... You were streaming the mocks, huh? On delay, I assume? That's crazy. But I appreciate the raid. You have a good rest of the weekend. That's a sweet emote too. I like that. No delay, Mox. Just killing it. All right. But Canister makes the big bucks, and I'm here registering Luris and Portable Hole. All right, so welcome everyone. We're playing the Vintage Challenge. We're currently 2-2 with a brew. I basically wanted to see how we could play Oswald Fiddlebender from Dungeons & Dragons in our Vintage deck. And that is fair, Canister. And this is what I came up with. Originally, I was trying to figure out ways to cheat Bolas Citadels and Sphinxes into play, but these didn't really work out. So I'm trying a different one where you're kind of a redundant Luris, Painter, Grindstone, Time Vault, Manifold Key combo deck. You just need a 1-cost and a 2-cost artifact, which makes Urza Saga pretty powerful, Welding and Engineering with our Goblins pretty powerful, and Oswald can just assemble the combo by itself. So there's a lot of cool things going on here. It does have some powerful draws, but it is clunky, and friends don't let friends register Plateau, so that's how you know how good it actually is. We're playing against PO here. Round 1, we kept a turn 1 kill, but they had a force, and we never drew a colored source. Here, we're looking to do a turn 2 kill, so we keep. So we have some amount of dead draw in here, but I feel like I want to play Grindstone and then Painter, because if the Painter gets countered, we have another Painter. Whereas just countering a Bindstone with a force right away is a little weird. Obviously, it could run into Mental Misstep, but we don't really have a way to play around Mental Misstep. Do you have a force? No force. We don't want to give them blue so that they could, I don't know, do something like Pyroblast our guy. Let's just choose white. How about white? Very pretty Mox Pearl now. All right, so my opponent needs to have Swords to Plowshares or Lightning Bolt or Hurkyl's Recall or kill me with Tinker. Those are all viable, yeah. I guess they could also have like Portable Hole or Prismatic Ending or Needle. Yeah, Needle works. Except I have a Portable Hole for this Needle, so if I draw a land or a Moxen, I can still win, which is sweet. I didn't really think about Needle. Maybe I should have more Portable Holes in my deck. They did have an Academy draw. They can actually PO if they wanted to. It's kind of crazy. It's a pretty strong draw for PO. Yeah, so we're back on the draw mana source. I guess if they play a Lavinia here, that definitely narrows down the amount of mana sources. But it's nice because we know they didn't have a force on their first turn. They're holding up 4 mana is probably not ideal for me, though. But it's not Hardcast. It's a Portable Hole. We didn't hit the mana we needed, though. I guess I should just make them have a counter. It's also turning off more of the Academy. It also turns off the Opal. Are they going to PO it? Fuck. It's so bad for me. Because then I'm back on drawing a mana source again on the next turn. Oh, they're going to Hurkyl's Recall targeting me. That's not... how does this work? Enters the battlefield, exile it until... Oh, okay. I guess that does work. Kind of. I don't think the Grindstone goes away. No. But I mean, I just replay everything, so... I only had 1 Moxen, so it's not like a... Yeah, I mean, we still need to draw a mana on our next turn. I think it's actually still better to Portable Hole again, though. Because I think cutting them off on mana is pretty useful. Cuts them off on 2 pieces of mana, Opal and a 1 on Academy. We're just gonna go white again. Go black this time for fun, but it kind of looks nice with white. All right, so I am again on mana source for lethal. They have Tinker. What's this? Oh, white. Yeah, mana source is lethal again. All right, they drew a Sapphire and they have a Tinker. What's this? A Mentor. All right, I was never winning on their ground anyways. Top. I mean, they have a really strong non-force draw. That's for sure. But we're kind of, once again, just directly on mana source for lethal. I guess they could have a force or a misstep after spinning this top, though. So there's some downside. They're giving it a good hard look, so there's still a shot that mana source here is lethal. Using, okay. All right, looking for mana. I just can't win today. Ah! I need help. Help. All right, what's the best way to... Oh, how's it going, Julian? All right, so I can portable hole the monk. I could portable hole the opal. I think I'm supposed to portable hole and play a grindstone. I guess we should find out if this gets misstepped first. No. I think I'm supposed to hit this opal. I don't think I'll die to this monk in one turn, so this cuts them off of possible black mana for something. I don't know. Oh, I have I have lethal on the table. It is up to my opponent to stop that. They would need Hercules again, probably, or like another needle. Oh, very pretty soul ring. Look at that. Time vault. Do they have vault key? That would be funny. Oh, come on! This is ridiculous. I feel so sad. In game 1, we just have to draw a colorful mana, and in game 2, we just have to draw any mana. But yeah, we didn't get there. Come on. We have like so many mana sources in our deck. Infinite mana sources in our deck. Oh well. I have not recovered from the whitelist PTQ. I'm now on the blacklist, and we'll never recover again. Okay, final round, vintage challenge, round 6. Win and get into that top 32, so I can get my money back. You know, let's show them that we in fact have a cat. Oh, they also have a cat. Is it cat versus cat? I think it is. Luris versus Luris, a classic 2-3 versus 2-3 matchup. You couldn't have scripted it any better. Probably means my opponent is on mono white, which is probably not a great matchup for me because it probably means they have like Stony Silences and Wastelands and Katakis. But all right, what is the plan? I have 6 mana on turn 1, so let's start there. I think I'm only gonna play 5 mana so that I can get my Saga down, and I didn't play around Mindbreak Trap. Oh, I didn't play around anything. I think I just want to get my Saga down, so I'm only gonna play 4 mana and not get my Luris. And I think I'm just going to get my Goblin Engineer. There are 2 mono white decks. One of them plays Luris, and one of them plays Archon of Emeria. What am I binning here, chat? What is the best play? Is it simply Time Vault so that I have a lethal kill on turn 3? Is it Portable Hole so that I can kill a Hate Bear? Kind of an interesting choice. It's probably the most important choice I can make in this game, because next turn, what I can do is I can float the Engineer and the Tomb, or I can get my Luris. I could also put like an Acre Wellspring in my yard. So I think those are my options. I could also put an Expedition map in my yard and get like a Tolarian. So I could put an Expedition map in my yard and then turn my Ruby into a map. That doesn't look very good. Yeah, it's either Vault and make him have it, Portable Hole to play around like a Kataki. I kind of think Portable Hole is the best choice because I have an active Urza Saga. I'm gonna get a Portable Hole. This might be wrong, but I'm gonna get a Portable Hole. I could see this backfiring. I guess if I get Wastelanded, this is like a better plan. Oh, what the fuck? It's Breach. Okay, well, I was wrong. I haven't seen too many Breach decks, but it's okay. We still can replay those things. Yeah, we're still in great shape with our Luris. As long as our Luris doesn't get countered, we feel like we're just super far ahead, right? Do I play the Luris or do I play the Servant and go for lethal? Actually, you probably just want to play the Servant then. So we're not going to get Wastelanded, which is great. And we're going to means we're going to make some big constructs. They kind of have to force this. Because if they don't force this, then... All right, they didn't force it. I'm going to choose black this time. Yeah, let's choose black this time. Look at that. Old border black Moxen. All right, so now my opponent has to remove this Painter's Servant or else my Saga gets a Grindstone. Or I could also just, you know, die to Breach combo. All of my old border cards look very, very cool when you change them colors. I like the blue one probably the most. Is this a Vamp? Am I getting tinkered? Jesus. All right, well. Spin the wheel, round and round it goes. I assume this means we're either getting Breach killed, or they're getting a Lightning Bolt, or they're Tinker killing us. So you can do blue, but I guess we're not... So the problem I have with blue is if, say, for some reason, they made it so we couldn't Grindstone, right? And then I have to cast a Luris, and it gives them the ability to pitch non-blue cards to force. So I think the upside of bluffing Pyroblasts is not worth it. Especially because bluffing Pyroblast doesn't do very much because they kind of have to do it or they die, right? They have to make their play or they die. So, like, I don't know. There might be some upside to bluffing Pyroblast, but I think the downside is real enough. Yeah, I haven't been bluffing Pyroblast. I've usually just been choosing a different color if I don't have a Pyroblast. Which maybe is a bad thing to tell chat when they play me next on this deck and I I choose blue, which means I have a Pyroblast. I probably need to mix in some bluffs now that I've said that. All right, my opponent is deep in the Vamp Tutor tank. I don't know what that means. Let's find out together. I would assume Tinker, but I wouldn't be surprised about another Lightning Bolt, and I wouldn't be surprised of like a Breach kill. Time Walk. That is somewhat surprising. And then what? Tinker after, so you have a land drop to give? Just had a time walk? Time walk to put an extra card in the yard for breach. Blue gush. It's possible that this is supposed to be a Ragavan deck. I have unfortunately sold all my monkeys. It is definitely possible that this is supposed to be a Ragavan deck. Do not get me wrong. Though, playing a Ragavan deck with 4 Ancient Tombs and 4 Urza Saga is, like, a little awkward. Yeah, this deck could definitely play Ragavan. Like, you would probably trim, like, a portable hole. I mean, maybe just, like, 2 Ragavans even. I just don't own any. Yeah, I could see, like, 2 Ragavans might be interesting. All right, well, I'm going to just yield till end step. I think I'm getting breach killed here on turn 2. Or I guess it's turn 3. Or it's turn 2 because they time walked. But, oh, is this dig? Dig makes me much less likely to get breach killed. Okay. Unless they hit, like, Brain Freeze, Black Lotus, I guess. Then I would die. It kind of feels like to me my opponent took a risky. Oh, they can't be Tinker because they fucking have a Luris. I'm so stupid. I totally forgot we were playing against Luris. Okay, so that's why we didn't get tinkered. All right, so that means they're either breaching us or they need a lightning bolt. Because a DAC doesn't actually do it. A Sprite Dragon also doesn't do it. Did you know Mox Sapphire? Look how better my Mox. My Moxen looks so much cooler. All right. Well, I got a construct. And then I got a construct. We can make a construct. I can play a Luris this turn as well. Hold on. Okay, they don't care. I'm trying to think actually how I play this turn. Because Academy draw means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana. So I can grindstone them, and then if they have something, I can just replay everything. And if they were like to somehow destroy the Painter's Servant, I could replay it with Luris. No. I have the grindstone. I'm aware that I have the grindstone. I'm trying to figure out the best way to play the grindstone. Because my opponent can stop the grindstone combo by simply getting rid of the Painter Servant. But I don't think I can actually beat removal on the Painter Servant. So I would probably just make a construct and then get a grindstone, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Luris is 4. I have an engineer that I can. I'm pretty sure that some combination of like playing Luris, but I don't exactly know. I don't have that mapped out on what the best way to play that is. So unfortunately, we don't have all the sweet additions that we've made to our sideboard with Aethersworn Canonist and Dampening Spheres. We don't have those yet because, you know, you play a deck and you learn and then you make changes. So we need to play against Breach without that. So I would think we would want the Soul Guide Lantern and the Welding Jar and Pyroblasts. And then I would take out Lightning Bolt. Like, Portable Hole is not bad to have as a tutor target. It might actually hit a Breach or something. I don't really see Needle as being super strong. And I typically don't like Defense Grid in these kind of matchups. But having one as a tutor target isn't horrible either. Yeah, I guess we could play Tormods and then just take out Defense Grid in one hole and leave one hole. I don't really usually like Tormods as a way of disrupting Breach, but in our Goblin Welder deck, it's probably worthwhile. So Pyroblast should cover Sprite Dragon. I guess they do have a Luris, which I should have kept the Lightning Bolt in for. I did not think about their Luris. Shit. Well, I guess I can keep their Luris at bay utilizing Tormods and stuff like that. This hand's sick. This is just turn 1, 7 mana, Saga, Painter Servant, and Luris. And Blast. Like, what the fuck is this? I just have turn 1 Luris with Pyroblast back up. And I have Saga for Grindstone. It's a pretty healthy hand. Opponent has okay, like I can't get Dak Faded because they're a Luris deck. All these things that I'm worried about just go away because they're Luris. I personally can't imagine playing Luris over Tinker, but people have done weirder things. This is definitely a combo deck that we have better game plans against than things like Doomsday and PO. Breach, we have some play verse. We will have even better matchup against it once we make the changes to our sideboard. I do think that the changes that we've constructed for our sideboard are probably going to make the deck better, like by a substantial amount. Obviously, I didn't test the deck super much before playing it. I had a league or two. But they look good. And if you're watching this on YouTube, just stick around till the end or skip to the end, and I will have the updated deck list at the end where we do a little retrospective. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I should order my pizza now, actually. Oh, I'm missing the LCS game. Oh, it's not the one I care about. Tomorrow's LCS game is the big one. Fnatic G2 and Cloud9 Team Liquid for the last 2 world spots from the West. That's going to be so crazy. Going to be what? Going to be nuts. Midway. Should order a pizza. I'm excited for this all peppers pizza. It's gonna be lit. Oh, they changed their online ordering system. Let's go. All right, Merchant Scroll resolves. Are they gonna get a brain freeze here? A brain freeze would be problematic. Okay, it wasn't a brain freeze because a brain freeze would mean we don't really have counterplay anymore. Hey, I agree. Okay, so this is pretty sweet. We can do we can't actually hold up Pyroblast on their turn, right? Oh, we do if the Lotus resolve, or if the Luris resolves. So how's the bet? We want to play a Saga to give us our fastest chance of winning. So we probably go Crypt, Lotus, Jet, Saga, put Luris into our hand. Oh crap, we can't actually make red mana off of anything, huh? Oh no. So I can't play Saga this turn? I can't protect my Luris and play Saga. So I guess that means I have to blind throw this Luris in so that if the Luris gets forced, I can play Plateau and Pyroblast Ancestral. Is it more important that our Lurrus resolves? We could just play Saga, Crypt, Servant. I don't know. I think I'm just jamming this Lurrus. I think this Saga needs to get into play on turn 1 or we don't have a chance of winning this game. Right. I'm saying that I can't protect my Lurrus with Pyro. I guess what I need to do is play around Daze. And if they do force my Lurrus, then I actually... Oh, if I play around Daze, I can't hold up Pyro for Force, for Ancestral. I don't know. It's so hard. Like, I want to play this Plateau so I can play Pyroblast, because I know that they have Ancestral. But I can't... Oh, they had Force, Blue Card, and Ancestral. Yeah, I think we have to play this Saga on turn 1, though. Because this lets us kill on turn 3. It's so sad. I kind of needed them to have Force Ancestral, but no other blue card, maybe? Because there's just no chance I'm supposed to play Plateau there. I'm not sure. Buy Force for 1 on my Mana Crypt. Okay, it's pretty good. That draw is interesting. I probably just pass. No, should I play a Welder? No, hold up Pyro. Okay, hold on. So if I make a construct, I can hold up Pyro. The Welder is allowing me to win, though. And I don't think the Pyroblast is going to save me from Breach. Well, it might save me from Breach because it might counter Scroll. I could just play the Painter Servant here. And just not care about the Saga. I don't even think I turned something... Well, if I turn something blue, I could counter Breach. Okay. I've actually sold myself on Painter. Yeah. Oh, this just resolved. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna name blue, and then I'm gonna play my Welder, and I have... Just won't play around Daze. And I have, like, I've insulated myself incredibly well to look for a Grindstone combo here. I can technically counter an Underworld Breach. I think this looks good. Pepper Pizza. Oh, there's still the convenience. Oh, whatever. Select paint. Remember? Looks like a Wear Tear on my Saga as an enchantment and my Servant as an artifact? God damn it. All right, well, I think I'm just supposed to blast that. You have a Fluster. I don't know why you would keep in Fluster. Why would you keep in Fluster versus me? I think that's incredible. I think that's a little wild to me. I don't think I would keep in Fluster, but... All right, what do we got? Another Welder. Oh, a Welder is not really getting any kinds of jobs done here. I can't believe they kept in Fluster versus me. I have what? Four targets in my entire deck? I guess I should be happy they're keeping in Fluster, but definitely not. All right, well, I mean, I'm out of shit. I need to just draw into a Grindstone, right? And before they kill me? I could turn this Opal into a Painter's Servant, and I have about infinite mana, but it doesn't do anything at the moment. Sorry. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna change this Opal into a Painter's Servant. This does open me up to a sword. I guess they don't have swords. And then I'm just gonna choose blue this time. Let's do green. And now I just need to find Grindstone. Soul Guide Lantern is a nice draw. Soul Guide Lantern is a nice draw. Shouldn't be able to get breach killed now, unless they have a negation. Can't beat the negation here on the Soul Guide Lantern. Soul Guide Lantern's a nice one, though. That's definitely true. "40 minutes. Dope. I will be fed for this hurricane. Everyone on the East Coast, Southeast. Not Southeast. Southern New England is what I was trying to say. Hope everybody is ready for the hurricane. Hope everyone stays safe. Probably should have to go back and watch this Team Liquid game. Okay, that's my turn. I'm not gonna do anything else so that I can hold open these Welder activations. Vampiric Tutor. Okay. So I think what I need to do against Vamp Tutor is actually just exile their yards so that they can't vamp for Dig Through Time. If they don't vamp for Dig Through Time, I don't really see what they're... I guess they could be vamping for a creature. Like a Sprite Dragon. I don't really want to lose my one artifact, but I think it's worth it to just hit this now so they can't go for like a cruise or something. Like, I can't actually use my Lantern to, like, cantrip, because then I'm not, the looping does not really work that way with the Welder. All right, so my opponent is on 2 cards in hand, no cards in graveyard. They're playing Breach. What do they vamp for? There is no Ancestral in their deck. Maybe another removal spell or something. Is there any reason to... Oh, they keep choosing not to get their Lurrus, which is really good for me. Is there any reason for me to swap anything out? I can swap in a Lotus, maybe? I don't know if that actually... Yeah, let's swap in a Lotus. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. And I have a Tormod's, which is not a bad draw because it does cantrip with our Soul Guide Lantern. All right, so I can't get Breach killed, but I can still die to Lurrus or Sprite Dragon. I don't think I'm supposed to like attack with the team. I think holding up in Goblin Welder activations is more powerful. I still don't know what they tutored for. I really have no idea what they tutored for. Maybe they tutored for like a dig through time and we cracked. I doubt it though. Brain freeze targeting themselves. Okay, yeah, I don't care about that. Oh, maybe they're trying to turn on the dig through time. Should I crypt them on 3 cards in their yard? What I could do is I could swap this crypt for a Soul Guide Lantern so that they only have 5 cards in their yard. No, they're going to have 6 because of the brain freeze. So there's no... Unless I hit the 3 cards right now, there's no way to stop a dig through time. Okay, then I guess I just don't stop a dig through time. Yeah, they have a dig through time. So they did vamp for a dig through time, and we did stop it with Soul Guide Lantern, which is pretty dope. Unfortunately, the number of cards that brain freeze did actually was really unfortunate for us. There was just no way to stop them unless we actually used our crypt on 3 lands, which I think is probably not great. Now they do get to keep a Lotus, but they still can't Breach kill us, so I don't think that matters. The only thing that matters in this game is Sprite Dragon killing us. Or I guess Lurrus kills us as well, but they do have Lurrus. I just don't think we can get Breach killed. And they don't have like Mentor or Tinker. They do get 2 of their best, 7 cards there. I wonder if we were supposed to crypt on 3. It just doesn't feel right to me. It's kind of sad because maybe we were supposed to swap in 2 lanterns. No, we can't swap in 2 lanterns. Okay, they put the Lurrus into their hand. So let's swap out the Crypt for a Soul Guide Lantern, and then exile your Black Lotus, and then I think we're gonna draw a card off this Lantern. Through an Opal. All right, I think I'm just going to turn this Lotus into another Soul Guide Lantern then. And we'll exile your Preordain. And then draw. And we play a bunch of mana. And I think we just draw another card. Right, well. I think it's just better to play another one of these. And then we technically still can do lantern things. All right, so are they just going to play a Lurrus this turn? What's the plan? They can play a Lurrus, though they don't have the best attacks with Lurrus if we just hold back both Painter Servants. So I actually don't really care too much about Lurrus right now, especially because the Servants can just come back. I could also just blank the Lurrus every turn by swapping the Painter out. So I actually think we probably don't even care about Aluris, which is interesting to me. All right, I'm going to swap out this for a Soul Guide Lantern. And then I'm going to swap out Soul Ring for a Mox. And then I'm going to activate my Lantern. Keep cantripping here. Interesting. An expedition map. And a Saga. All right, so I have a Saga now, which is a tutor for our Grindstone. I have an expedition map. I think we're winning this game. This welder lockdown is pretty impressive. All right, so what's your plan? Are you going to attack with Luris? I think I'm just going to take it. I'm not planning to kill you via damage. I don't want to use my welders to weld in a painter yet. So the question becomes, do I map for like something good? Yeah, I probably map for an academy, right? I probably just cast map on academy, or use my map for an academy. I could just get another Saga, but I can just bring my map back into play at any point. All right, so now I get an academy. I don't think. All right, I definitely think upgrading the jet for the Soul Ring is a good play. My opponent shouldn't be able to win through this. Unless they brought in Graveyard Hate and wiped my graveyard, which I'm not sure that they did. Oh, we drew a Grindstone. That's probably very good. Yeah, all right. Sayonara, opponent. Oh, they didn't even let me cast Grindstone. This was sweet. Honestly, this was a cool win. I'm pretty glad that we made it to this point. Top 8. No. We went 3-3. Got our money back. Oh, that was sweet. That was really, really cool. I'm glad that we made it to the end of this video. I'm glad I didn't drop at 1-2. That was a lot of fun. This deck was cool. All right, so we'll do a little recap here. We made some changes during between rounds. Chat helped a lot. We made some changes. We obviously deduced from our 6 rounds that we are weak to combo. So we have made some changes to get Aether Sworn Canonist, Dampening Sphere. We're gonna try out a Void Mirror in our sideboard. And we're also going to try out a balance, because a balance should be pretty good in this deck, even though we have a lot of creatures. We also moved, we changed the defense grid into a Thorn. That should be pretty reasonable in our main deck. And I think these changes should help first combo. Obviously, there are Luxacs like Wombo who are just going to, mulligan to a turn 2 kill on their Moldifor. But against normal players, should be helpful. Definitely can't play Trinisphere Wombo. The cat. I would actually play Trinisphere in this deck if we were not playing the cat, though. I actually do like Trinisphere in these style decks without the cat. But for the most part, a lot of the changes that I made before this event were pretty good. The Expedition map looked quite good, and Fiddlebender was actually pretty powerful. It's a little hard to cast. I'm worried a lot about our mana in this deck. I don't know exactly how to fix the mana problem. Void Mirror is about spending colors of mana, so shouldn't be a big deal. Yeah, I would play this deck again. I actually think this deck is really fun to play. There's a lot of interesting things you can do, and when you do get the grindy matchups versus like Jeskai and Dredge, where you're doing welding and stuff, it's pretty sweet. It surprised me, actually. I thought this deck would be a lot worse than it was. I think if we ran a little hotter, like versus Wombo and versus non-basic land, where we had like the turn 1 kill and then all we had to do to win the game was top deck a white mana or a red mana, I think there was a lot of instances today where if we top deck slightly better, we actually put ourselves in a winning position where we have like a good record. So it's a cool deck. Let me know what you think about this deck in the comments below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, make sure you put fiddle bending in the comments so that I know you made it to the end, and you get a like. Maybe you even get a pin. That don't mean anything, but if it makes you happy, it makes me happy. I will see you in the next one.